Factor investigation segment tonight. It's estimated Michael Jackson spent more than $500 million with a B dollars on himself before his untimely death. Now think about that, $500 million. Jackson went on wild shopping sprees, reportedly spent as much as $30 million a year on clothes, travel, and toys. His ranch out in Santa Barbara cost nearly $20 million, and the upkeep every year, millions more. By the late 1990s, Jackson's career diminished, and he began taking out loans to support his lavish lifestyle, ending up $400 million in debt, according to some estimates. Joining us now from Los Angeles, Alexis Martin Neely, a family law attorney, and from Long Island, Jerry Reisman, a lawyer who negotiated some contracts for Michael Jackson. Mr. Reisman, we'll begin with you. What does spending hundreds of millions of dollars on yourself say about a person?
Well, it says that he had no fiscal control. He had no one who really was watching him. He had people who used him. He had people that abused him, people who took money from him. He did spend a lot of money, allegedly, on drugs. He spent a lot of money on Neverland. He was a youngster. He himself was a child, and he spent a lot of money on toys, Neverland, and furnishing it.
Okay, that's an interesting point. So you say he was an emotionally arrested individual, and like any child, had no impulse control, and therefore would go in and spend enormous amounts of money on whatever he wanted, and he had a right to do it because he was an American. He earned the money until, you know, he got into debt, but he had a right to do whatever he wanted, and there was nobody there who could say to him, you can't do it, because he was an adult. So basically nobody could have stopped him.
If they did, he fired him.
All right, so nobody could have stopped him. All right,
That's right.
Now, Counselor Neely, you have then a position where there's a guy, he's got 3 children, okay? He's not in control of himself in the sense that he's taking narcotics, and I believe that you will see his death certificate will be an overdose of a powerful sleeping potion. I believe that will happen. He's got the children. He's out of control in his lifestyle. Legal problems aside, just in the way he lives from day to day, he's crazy. He's got the kids in burqas. He's running them around the world. He's dangling the baby over the balcony, doing all of this stuff, all of this crazy stuff. In America, there's nobody who could stop him from doing that, right?
No, this was a man who was in a tremendous amount of pain. He was crying out for help, and nobody was giving it to him.
But he didn't want help.
His spending...
The counselor just said it. If you criticized him, he'd fire you or wouldn't talk to you.
Absolutely. And that's why he had no bottom. His bottom was death. It was the only way out for him. And what we have to look at now is who will be raising these kids so that they grow up differently, so that they grow up with the values that he did not have.
His mother, the grandmother's going to raise him. They're not going to give it to this bull digger.
Exactly. The same one, but the same person who raised Michael Jackson is now going to raise his kids. What kind of values are they going to have? What have they already been taught, and how is that going to be turned around? It is critically important here that we look at the welfare of these kids and make sure that they don't make the same mistakes that their father made. Okay.
Now, Mr. Reisman, if you have a situation that's that out of control with 3 dependents, all right, the little children, and you have a situation that's crazy, all right? Again, there's no legal recourse. Nobody can step in and do anything, correct?
That's correct. He was the father. He was in charge. He had custody. He could do whatever he wanted with those children.
All right. Then, over the past 6 days, you have seen the media in the United States and all over the world glorify Michael Jackson. How do you, sir, react to that glorification?
Well, I think he was a great artist.
Well, that doesn't matter. They're glorifying the man, not his dance steps.
Well, they are glorifying him as an artist. They are glorifying him as a person. They're saying he contributed to music. He contributed to the African-American experience in America. He was a living and will be a living legend.
You buying that?
I am.
You are? Then he inseminates his carrier of the mother of the children with white people's sperm? And there's some kind of racial component here to black people?
Well, I'm not so sure about that.
Well, I mean, all you have to do is look at the kids, Counselor. I mean, come on.
Well, I have looked at the, I have looked at the kids, and they look pretty good.
All right, they look fine, but they're white kids. So the
And
racial
he's not a role
component
model.
escapes me here. All right, I'm going to give you the last word, Ms. Neely. But when you watch this coverage glorifying Michael Jackson as a person for the last week, what do you think?
I think that we have to realize he is not a role model, that he needs to be held up as an example of exactly what we need to not do to our kids in this country and say, do not be like Michael Jackson. Do not have his values. You are more than that, and if you are in pain, you need to get help, not just have more money thrown at you, not be given anything you want.
You know, I think that's an excellent point. I think this is a cautionary tale, but it's not played that way in the media, which, of course, doesn't give a whit about Michael Jackson. It just wants to make money. It always comes back to money. Counselors, thanks very much. When we come right back, the culture warriors on the media and Michael Jackson. Is there something dishonest about the presentation?